January 31st, 2000. A routine flight from Puerto Vallarta, Mexico, to San Francisco, but for the 88 souls on board Alaska Airlines Flight 261. This day would end in tragedy. The MD-83 aircraft took off with Captain Ted Thompson and First Officer Bill Tansky at the controls. Both experienced pilots, both trusted by thousands of passengers over the years. But soon after reaching cruising altitude, something felt wrong. The plane wasn't holding level. The pilots reported a jammed horizontal stabilizer. It's the small part of the tail that keeps an aircraft steady in flight. Without it, the plane can lose control completely. The crew tried everything: checklist, trim switches, even manual override. The jack screw, the single part responsible for the stabilizer, had stripped its threads. It could no longer hold the tail in place. Moments later, the aircraft inverted, upside down, falling toward the Pacific Ocean. At 4:21 p.m., Alaska Airlines Flight 261 crashed into the Pacific. The jack screw, the single part responsible for the stabilizer, had stripped its threads. It could no longer hold the tail in place. Moments later, the aircraft inverted, upside down, falling toward the Pacific Ocean. At 4:21 p.m., Alaska Airlines Flight 261 crashed into the Pacific, just off the coast of California. All 88 passengers and crew were lost. The investigation revealed poor maintenance practices and the failure to properly lubricate the jack screw assembly. It was a tragedy that forced airlines worldwide to change their maintenance inspection standards forever. Today, the memory of Flight 261 reminds us that even the smallest part can decide the fate of many lives. Every nut, every bolt, every action matters. Because in aviation, there are no small mistakes. October 29th, 2018. Jakarta, Indonesia. A brand new Boeing 737 marks 8 waits on the runway. Lion Air Flight 610. 189 souls on board. Destination Pangkal Pinang. The morning sky glows softly over the Java Sea. Inside the cockpit, everything seems calm. Until it isn't. Just minutes after takeoff, the captain notices something strange. The nose of the aircraft begins to dip. On its own, he pulls back. It levels. Then, it dips again. An invisible battle begins between man and machine. The pilots don't know it yet, but the system meant to save them has turned against them. MCAS, a new automated feature designed to prevent stalls. But it's reacting to faulty data from a single sensor. The computer believes the plane is climbing too steeply. It forces the nose down again and again. Alarms echo inside the cockpit. Stall! Stall! Altitude! The pilots fight back. They pull. They adjust. They recover. But the system keeps pushing. Every few seconds, the aircraft dives deeper. The ocean rises to meet them. At 6:33 a.m., the radar goes silent. Lion Air Flight 610 has vanished from the sky. All 189 lives lost. Families wait on the shore. Search boats circle the waves. And the world demands to know how. Days later, investigators uncover the truth. The MCAS system had activated repeatedly, forcing the jet downward based on false sensor readings. The pilots had never been told this system existed. No training, no manual, nothing. Boeing called it a minor change, but it wasn't minor. 5 months later, Ethiopian Airlines Flight 302 crashes the same way. 157 more lives gone. The entire 737 MAX fleet is grounded. Airlines, governments, engineers, all searching for answers. What began as innovation had turned into tragedy. Lion Air Flight 610 became a symbol of what happens when technology outpaces responsibility. A reminder that in aviation, every circuit, every line of code, every decision matters. Today, its lessons shape the skies we fly in. Training has changed, designs have evolved, and the names of those lost will never be forgotten. Lion Air Flight 610. The day trust in technology fell from the sky. It was June 1st, 2009. Air France Flight 447 took off from Rio de Janeiro, bound for Paris. 228 people were on board. A routine overnight flight crossing the Atlantic Ocean. The aircraft, an Airbus A330, modern, powerful, and trusted by airlines worldwide. The flight climbed smoothly to 35,000 feet. Passengers settled in. Dinner was served, and the cabin lights dimmed for sleep. But above the Atlantic, a line of violent thunderstorms waited ahead. As the plane entered the storm, ice began forming on the speed sensors, called pitot tubes. They froze. The readings became unreliable. Suddenly, autopilot disconnected. The pilots had to fly manually, in the dark, with no visible horizon. Inside the cockpit, confusion spread. The flight displays showed conflicting speeds. The captain was on a short rest break. 2 co-pilots struggled to understand what was happening. The nose of the aircraft began to rise too high. Speed dropped, and the plane stalled. For the next 3.5 minutes, the aircraft fell from 38,000 feet straight into the Atlantic Ocean. No one survived. 228 lives were lost that night. For days, nothing was found but floating debris. Families waited in airports, watching news screens in disbelief. The black boxes were missing, deep beneath the ocean floor. It took 2 years, and one of the largest undersea searches in aviation history, to locate the wreckage. When investigators recovered the flight recorders, the truth finally surfaced. The pitot tubes had frozen, causing the autopilot to disengage and the flight computers to lose key data. Without reliable instruments, the pilots pulled the nose up when they should have lowered it to recover from the stall. They never realized the aircraft was falling until the final seconds. Air France and Airbus changed training programs worldwide. Pilots were retrained to recognize and respond to high-altitude stalls. New pitot tube designs were introduced to prevent another tragedy. Like Flight 447 in Paris and Rio, memorials were built for the victims, each name carved in stone. A reminder of fragility and the cost of every mistake. Today, the story of Air France Flight 447 stands as one of aviation's most haunting lessons. Even the most advanced machines are only as safe as the humans who guide them and the systems that support them.